Morning, everybody. I have not done a food video in a long time, and I had a good buddy bring me by some deer meat, and that is the backstrap. Or, on a cow, it would be the beef tenderloin, but that is a piece of the backstrap, probably about pound and a half, 2 pounds, I think. And essentially, it's all trimmed to the silver skin and fat, and it's sitting elevated on a drying rack or a cooling rack, some wax paper underneath to catch any drippings or anything, although there won't be much. One thing I did, and make sure you always do this, pat your meat, giggity, before you put it on the drying rack. Get it nice and dry, and then you can liberally apply whatever seasoning you want. This is a coffee-infused barbecue seasoning from Sheepdog Cold Brew, company here in Winnipeg, and it's absolutely excellent stuff. I've used it on brisket a lot before, so then I'm going to sit it overnight like that, called dry brining, and cook it up tomorrow. We'll see you then. So I just wanted to add, I didn't explain why this is such a good method, and my favorite method for making steaks, but really it could apply to a piece of meat like this, which is technically a roast, I guess, because it's not cut in steaks, which I still could do, but I'm going to probably wind up barbecuing this whole, the weather's nice tomorrow, and then just cut it up after. So essentially why this is such a good method, really specifically for red meat, is overnight. Of course, the longer the seasoning sits on it, the more the flavor penetrates into the meat. But what that does is it allows the outside of the meat to get nice and sort of a crust, or a pellicle it's called, kind of dry. And then it keeps everything inside of there nice and juicy. So deer meat is very lean, and this will help keep the inside nice and juicy. Also want you to take note of the sort of before and after pictures of the piece of deer tenderloin, how the colors change from before it went into the fridge until after. And if you look really closely, if you're able to zoom in, you'll see how it starts to form a skin or a drier surface when you do the dry brining overnight like that. It's going to be wicked good. Also making a little sauce with beef broth and butter, and frying in some oil, just a little bit of oil in the already seasoned cast iron skillet, and then a little bit of butter just as it's finishing. It's going to be good. Just a reminder to pull your meat out at least a couple hours earlier before you cook it, so it gets to room temperature. Nobody likes a cold piece of meat. So just a reminder to make that successful backstrap. Make it all trimmed and clean, so any excess silver skin or fat or sinew on the surface, get it as clean as you want. Pat it dry, season it up, put it on a sheet pan on a raised cooling or wire rack, season it, and let it sit in the fridge at least overnight. Pull it out at least 2 hours before, so that it's nice and warm. When you're getting your cast iron pan, but any non-stick pan will do. Best to use one without forever chemicals. But let it warm up for a few minutes on medium. I usually like about 4 to 5 minutes so that the surface is nice and hot. And halfway through that, or even just the last minute through, put whatever lubricant you're cooking it with, be that a neutral flavored oil like avocado oil or olive oil, even vegetable oil is fine, or a combination of one of those oils and butter, or just butter. And then let that warm up for a minute, and you want to hear it sizzle when your meat hits the pan. And to get it nicely seared, you just want to let it sit and do its work. You don't want to pull it off too early. And that's usually 1.5 to 2 minutes per side. And don't forget the tip. And if you want to get it about the color that I had in that video, which is medium, so just pink, I put it in the oven at 350 for about 5 minutes for that size of backstrap. I don't know what the thickness was, but it was about 2.5 to 3 pounds. But even just a couple minutes will get it nice. If you like it a little rarer, then don't put it in the oven. And it'll cook just fine on its own in the pan. Take care and enjoy.